So cool. Thanks everyone for joining. The goal for this session is so for anyone who's been part of the first four sessions or has listened to our recordings of those sessions, we covered some really cool foundations of some essentials in the market, right? Support of resistance, candlestick structure, moving averages. We covered VWAP, volume, all that good stuff. So I think part of trading and having a system is you can't use things only in isolation. And I'm not taking a dig at anyone, but sometimes people, or it could be anyone outside of the group, in the group, someone will ask, hey, XYZ stock hit $100. Is it buy now? That's using one element of the market only and not combining everything to a system, right? So you can use that as a first piece of context. Hey, we're at $100 here, but where are we at in retrospect to our overall trend? Are we in a downtrend? Are we in an uptrend? Are we tagging $100 and is that in line with the 200-day moving average, or are we under the 200-day moving average, right? So there's a lot of things you want to put into context. So one thing I always like to say, it's kind of like an anecdotal thing. The market is telling a story. It's a storyteller. It's up to us how we interpret that story. And what we use to interpret that story are these tools we have that we all encompass under the umbrella of technical analysis. There's no one right way to trade. Some people trade fair value gap. Some people will trade supply and demand. Some people use level two data only. There's no right way to trade. But I think the key is having a system that works for you and using multiple pieces to kind of put that story together of or get an idea of what story the market's telling us. So that's kind of just a high level of what we're going to talk about today. And one thing I think I want to help you guys with too is like me, Billy, and Brett always say, the goal isn't here to sit here and spoon feed everyone. Because at the end of the day, if something happens to me, Billy, or Brett, does that just mean your trading career ends? No, it's to teach the fish method. We're here to help you, enable you to learn to trade on your own and trade alongside us. So, one thing I want to teach you guys too is how to create a trading plan. When I post plans for my tickers in the group, I'm not just pulling a number out of my ass. I'm posting a trading plan. I'm saying, hey, if say ONDS is a great example. Hey, if ONDS breaks down last week's lows, I don't like to look as much anymore. We have to have kind of if then scenarios and just overall using these tools we have in technical analysis to tie that together to create a trading plan. So let me get started over here. And so the agenda, wow, I forgot this is the first one. The trading plan, the first thing, why a written plan is your edge. No plan is a plan to fail. And I stick by that because otherwise you're just gambling. Trend and market context. We went over this, but we're going to combine that with our other components of technical analysis, support and resistance, volume and VWAP, and we'll talk about our entry framework. And then this all ties into your execution and how you execute your trade. So a quick example will be like Billy in his chat. He might say, hey, if this breaks under $2.50, but it holds VWAP, I'll be looking to take long. So Billy might be looking for a hammer candle off that level then to go long, not just blindly oh, 250s here, I'm buying. No, that's not confirmation. That's a gamble as well, you know? So this is
Yeah, we
why
could
we
be
use
an alert
confirmation.
service, and I could tell you guys, hey, pump up stocks and say, hey, I'm entering here, and you're gonna do. I'm trying to teach you guys how to play levels, how to play and do exactly what I do. I'd like to break down one stock today when we have a chance. GLE.
Yeah,
That was an
absolutely, Billy.
awesome play that hit exactly the way I wanted to this morning. So we'll get to it. I don't want to cut into this, but
No, no, Billy, you're good. That's Billy, kind of what I want to do. I don't want to bore everyone with a slideshow because this isn't a college course.
yeah, I don't
We
think
want to be hands-on
exactly.
interactive. So these are kind of high-level points, and I'm really going to get into some charts and talk about some setups we saw this week. Billy had GLE, and one thing I've been trying to do for y'all is try to throw you at least one bone for a day trade on large caps as well because we've been having a lot of good momentum. So I'll go over some strategies I have for that. Tesla was a great banger this week. Tesla really hit. I traded that twice this week. I swung from yesterday into today. And then I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I outlined a plan for a day trade and it worked out really well. So let me just get right into this.
Yeah,
So
SNDK was a good one too. That was
exactly.
short
And you
paid.
approached it with a plan though. That's kind of what we're talking about here, Billy. Like why the trading plan matters. Most traders lose not because of bad analysis, they lose because of no plan. I don't know if anyone's taken a chance to listen. I know KP, you're listening to Trading in the Zone. Great book. If anyone hasn't listened to that book, it's a must listen or a must read. Got it right here. Trading in the Zone. One thing Mark Douglas talks about is a lot of times, and I was guilty of this too, Billy. I'm sure you did. When you had that first big loss in your trading career, you're like, all right, I need to learn everything about the market. Or when you have that string of multiple losses, and we still have losses now. I've
You
never
mean
gone
when I've
through.
lost $100,000 in a day, $75,000 in a day? I've done it all at this point. I mean, and then
Exactly.
even what was that one stock yesterday really fucking threw me for a loop. EZGO. That's something new I've never seen before. A stock that was $3.77 pre-market that went down to 6 cents today with zero bounce and
And
no
guess
bad
what?
news.
Like you always say, Billy, it could always go lower. Like, oh, it
That's
has to
that
bounce here. It does
perfect
not have to
example.
bounce. Who said it has to bounce? No one said
And
it has to
I was
bounce.
looking for a bounce for everyone because I saw real potential, and I've seen it happen before with one of our other members where we caught something that went like 400% off of something similar. But yeah, that's why I was patient and I was saying, hey, keep waiting, wait for confirmation, wait to actually see this bottom in reverse because nothing's too low. That went down like 99% or whatever it
100%.
was in like 2 days.
So part of that, like what Billy's talking about, is part of a plan is rules as well. So why the trading plan matters, I always say this, the work you do for trading, people like, oh, what time of day do you make the most money? Or what time that the time of day you make the most money is the work you put in outside market hours. So when I give you guys those reality checks about the weekend, what'd you do this weekend? It's not only to you, it's a reminder to myself too. Like I don't have an I arrived mentality. Like there's always more to learn, especially with trading. It's really you just first yourself in trading. So you can never have the I've arrived mentality. You always have to keep yourself humble, one, and two, being looked to prove always. And part of that is coming into market with a plan every day. Like the first thing here, again, I don't want to stay on the slides too long. It removes emotion. When you're behind your screen, you're just pressing buttons. You shouldn't be thinking too hard about it. You act on your edge. Your edge is what you studied beforehand, and you're acting on it when you see it manifest itself in a trade. So your level hits, you get a hammer candle off VWAP, you go long, you take your trade if that's part of your plan. You don't just blindly come into the market and start pressing buttons. That's literally gambling. So it's key that you come into the market every day with a plan. And if you look back, I'm not just, again, just making shit up. Like, look back at what I'm talking about in the chat. Look at Tesla. I'm outlining if then scenarios for you guys. If Tesla goes here, if it has a pullback, we're looking to add here. If we have a breakout scenario, I'm looking to take break of a high of day and retest. Those kind of things I'm talking about. So you got to trade your edge, and that also helps you keep your risk mitigated. And part of that is having a rule set, and that's where you get your consistency from, having your rules and coming in with a plan every day. Um, Anyone have any questions, or is that like a challenging thing for you? How to create a trading plan? Do you guys understand what's included in creating the trading plan? Do you know what a trading plan is? It's not rhetorical either. I'm genuinely asking y'all.
I think we'll recap
Um,
my play from today too. We could
Okay.
kind of just go
Yeah.
over the exact plan I laid out in pre-market.
I
I had
saw
one in
Ryan came off
pre-market,
mute.
which was perfect, and then I had one going into market open, which was perfect, and then RXT also hit from market open and
Yeah.
did what So there's a couple examples that. Ryan has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, what's going on?
oh, sorry for interrupted.
No, no,
Uh,
I want questions. My question was if we guys any question you want pertaining to
yeah,
this, but do you guys understand what a trading plan encompasses or how to create a trading plan?
that's what I want to understand a little bit more.
Yeah. So, let me see what this next slide is. Cool. Perfect. So, the biggest thing is knowing what you're going to trade. So, like a good example is again, Billy is a little different because he's momentum based. So his plans are going to change daily. But you'll see my watch list. I'll pretty much keep updating the same stock a few times over a course of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We've been in this group for over a month, sometimes over a month. I've been talking about IGV until I'm blue in the face. And look at IGV today, hit $92. There's a reason I kept mentioning that name because I had conviction in it and it played out beautifully. So
Mhm.
part of that is instrument. What instrument am I trading? I knew it's IGV. And with IGV, let's go to the chart.
Which chart are you pulling up?
I'm going to pull up IGV, just talking to Ryan about creating a trading plan. And I'm just going to reference back IGV as a good example because I haven't shut up about this name, and I'm not going to until it does the gap fill, and then maybe I'll shut up. But IGV,
What's the gap fill at?
$97.
Okay.
Yeah. And see, guys, that's also why I like having a trading plan, because I was able to tell Billy to gap fill without looking at it because I've looked at it so many times, you know? So, Ryan, I think it was your question, right? So, I think there's two components to trading. You want to know where you're looking to take your trade, when is a time component. For the when factor, we can never determine when a stock's going to break out, but you can determine where you're looking to take your entries at, right? So, one thing we talk about is combining support and resistance and these other components like your higher time frame moving averages. We also talk about combining volume and VWAP that you use on a lower time frame for your entry. But say for a swing player looking to develop, the first thing you're doing is I would always start on the daily chart at the minimum. If you're going to go higher, look at a weekly. Let's pull back context here. We started talking about IGV back end of March. So when the chart was looking like this, IGV didn't look as promising. We knew that it had and it's important to pay attention to the context of the market too. From a basic fundamental standpoint, we know that software stocks aren't going anywhere. But when these large sector sell-offs happen, you know a relief bounce is coming soon. And money has to rotate in for that to happen. So that was on my radar for that. And then we combined support and resistance. So support and resistance being that, okay, we know the 76 spot around here is a key level we've been holding on to. So these are things you look to start seeing develop when you want to see a bottom in a market carve out. You want to see a level like this hold. And this was kind of a failed breakdown we put in over here at this 76 or so spot. So this is a point where you'll have it on your radar potentially, but say you're not comfortable in going long because we're under our higher time frame moving averages. Ryan, I don't know if you were part of the classes where we talked about moving averages, were you?
I was not.
Okay, no, it wasn't.
No,
You're good. I just wanted to know for like get an idea of what your knowledge is like on the moving averages. So that's fine. So this light blue line is my 50-day moving average. This red line is a 200-day moving average. The higher moving average is obviously further out time frame. The lower time frame ones are the ones you want to see curling up first. So the dark blue lines are the 80 EMA, the yellow lines are 21 EMA. So the 21 EMA is one I'll reference very often, and Billy does too. That's the mean. Think of that as your center of gravity for the market, okay? And it works on all time frames, whether you're on a daily, a 4-hour, a 1 hour, a 1 minute. It works on every time frame, but it depends what you're looking to do for your execution for the trade. So for a swing, you want to be on a daily chart, okay? So say before IGV got back over this yellow line here, the daily mean, we know that we're in a downward trend and we're looking for maybe some short term for us to reclaim this here. So once we reclaim that, you see how we got the positive conversion, the lower time from EMA crossing over. Okay. And say you have an entry at that point, you don't want to chase this because say you're like, all right, you know what? IGV is finally green. I'm going to buy it on its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to buy it on its 9th green candle. On the 9th day, it's green. No, you already got rugged. You look, no, IGV is green. It broke over this. It's first time breaking over the daily mean in a while. Let's see it pull back to one of the key moving averages. And I called this out in chat last week. Kyle, you're on. Is that Kyle Santiago who's on? Or is that Kyle Cobb?
No,
it's you. Oh, you're a perfect example. I was on the phone with you and I told you it's tagging a 50-day. This is a good spot to buy it at. Then you asked me the day after when it gapped up again, should you buy it still? So I'm just calling you out. Kyle's my boy, so it's okay to call him out. But it's a good example of just like when you have. But Kyle, you see the move that happened when we tagged the 50-day here. You were like, crap, I should have bought it. You know, because look at the gap that happened after. So
literally the next day, we were on the phone in the afternoon the day before. You're like, you should buy it today. And then I was like, nah, I'll wait till tomorrow. It'll drop down a few more cents. Nope, went up.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ryan, I think to keep swing trades simple, if you're not looking to really learn every in and out of technical analysis, use the higher time frame moving averages and support and resistance. So you know that say like, okay, this $82, we were bouncing off of here. You saw we had one bounce here. This was prior resistance here, acted as support a bit, came back and bounced. So that kind of adds that you have that level of confluence with the 50-day moving average. So that's the where component of where you're looking to add it at. And when it tags there, get your starter position in. You know, you don't have to full port when it does it. I mean, it would have been nice if everyone did that off of this. You'd been up really nicely. But trading the right way, we want to see. Billy, she knows we should have full ported there. But that's part of Ryan what you're looking for, using those higher time frame moving averages. And when we clear these those levels, just knowing where you want to get into a trade at and being patient and letting that develop. So that's kind of why I write out if then scenarios. If IGV holds $82 and holds a 50-day moving average, then I'd be looking to take long. If IGV fails $82 and loses the 50-day moving average, I'll wait till maybe we retest this 4-hour demand to see if we bounce there. Does that make sense, Ryan? I know I kind of rambled a bit, but does that make sense?
No, it does. It's a little bit of a lot of information, but I know I'll understand
for sure.
it.
I'm more than willing to help you in chat too. So I'll direct you to some of the stuff about moving averages. I don't want to go too much into that on this call because we have a full video on that. So definitely when you have some time over the next few days, a week or so, give that video a watch. And I think it would help add context into this. Okay. And then using that with the support and resistance method, that kind of gives you your where component of where you're looking to take a trade. That's the biggest thing. You want to know where and I guess what happens when we get to that point too. So having those if-then scenarios, if we tag this level, then this might happen. And you have to base your approach off of that. You can't only approach a trade as it's going to be a winning trade. You have to have a plan for what's going to happen if it's a winner and if it's a loser as well, because I can't control what's going to happen in the market, neither can Billy. Mm-hmm. And Billy, you always have an out plan for what happens if a trade's not working like you wanted to. What was the ticker you said, Billy? What's the one?
Yeah, let's talk about GLE.
Yeah, let's pull that up.
And just focus on this started yesterday in the after hours.
Let me take the 200-day off here and a 50-day. I'm going to keep on.
Yeah, just focus on like yesterday after hours and then this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yesterday after hours. Make sure to send it. Session. Extend it. Okay. So this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, today's Thursday. Okay. Wednesday, we had. So this is Wednesday. This is Wednesday. Wait, am I tripping? I'm on 5 minute? I am on 5 minute. Okay.
Wednesday, you go to 1 minute.
We go to 1 minute? Gotcha.
So my plan this morning was I marked off 54 and 56.
Okay. We'll do that.
As levels. And you could see it right there, exactly how we're looking at it. So when I drew that key support level, you could see that price back test that level numerous times, and the bears failed to actually break that price, right? So 54, I put 56, and then I had 58 at VWAP in the morning. So obviously, I'm always looking at VWAP. I always mention that. Sorry, the baby's freaking out.
No, you're good. You're good.
This is what I actually trade with the baby sometimes, so while posting in Discord, so kind of a
multitasker.
Multitasking is my okay. All right, so yeah, 54 and 56 I marked as levels, and then at the time in the morning, 58 cents was VWAP, which should be your purple line, right, on your chart?
Yep. Yep.
So again, VWAP's always your important pivot level that,
like you said, 58 cents right there is VWAP.
Mm-hmm. So what I said basically this morning was if those key supports hold, which they did throughout the morning, that 54 and 56, right? Bears start getting nervous. They have to start covering their positions of the shares that they borrowed because they see that the price is not going lower. And that's where bulls also step in, right, to get that upwards movement. So I basically said that was a major pivot. And if we were able to clear and reclaim, so always confirming that break of VWAP, that we would target 60, 62, 64 and a half. So you could even probably mark those levels off too, Jay.
Yeah. Also, too, I just want to call one thing out, guys. Like, you see how I'm kind of eyeballing the chart and you could see where resistance is at? Like,
yeah, do you see like what I'm looking at? Like you could clearly see as he's drawing those lines, you see that price touching all these levels.
like
I'm
Billy
not
doesn't have to
pulling
tell
these
me that
prices out of
exactly. I
my
can see it
ass.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the next
here's
one I
another
did, I
one.
think was 67 and 70.
Look, Billy barely told me it's 66.5. It's pretty much the same. You see, like right here. So,
Yeah.
but Billy, I just
So
want to call out
you
one
could
thing
you
you
could
said.
see how it's all range bound, right? So you could see that I want to make sure that this base from yesterday, the 54 and 56 levels held. And then from there, obviously, we're gonna, move higher towards VWAP. And then if we break VWAP, that's when you start aiming towards those upper levels that I drew out. And this was like a home run play because as soon as we broke VWAP around 7 in the morning, I mean, and this is a good example that sometimes when you break VWAP, it doesn't always retest. And this was a massive, if you see the body of this candle, right? It was so explosive that, yeah, bears didn't have a chance to try to bring this back down to VWAP, essentially, right? So in this instance, sometimes you want to try to catch like that little bit of a dip. I think it was about 60 cents.
But Billy, you still had the test of that moving average right here too, the 21 EMA, or even up here, you still had that kind of look like.
Yeah, but as you can see, very explosive. And then what do you have? The 21 EMA, the blue line?
Yeah, the yellow is 21, blue is 8.
Yeah, so you could see that it actually bounced off the 8 pretty beautifully from there, and it hit all my targets. So again, once you draw those levels, you're able to see, all right, what range do I have to work with here? And a good example, let me just see. I'm looking at my chart as well.
But you see it, guys, notice how Billy is talking about, like, if this happens, then I'm looking for this. That's part of a trading plan too. Like Billy, even though he's trading these small cap momentum plays, he's not just coming and saying, okay, let's see what happens. I'm just going to long at this random spot. No, if GLE holds 0.54, then I'll be looking to take long. If it holds VWAP, then, that's kind of how you want to craft a trading plan. You're basing it off levels and what could potentially happen. And Billy, if it lost 54 cents, you wouldn't have longed it.
Correct,
you have a scenario.
Absolutely.
Exactly. You have a scenario if it's a winner or a loser.
This is what you call like a break of structure, which is what I said on IREN and after hours. So you start seeing a breakdown of like that bullish, pattern that was formed here, and you're going to start a downtrend if you give up that 54 cents.
Yeah, because the bullish pattern Billy's talking about is it's clearly like whenever you have a big gap up and a hold of range, that's generally a bull flag, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. Just know that bulls gap price up and are filling out a price range here. This is your structure. And like Billy said, if you lose this 54, you're breaking structure. So, and that's part of the game planning too, is knowing, okay, this name gapped up. We're trading in a range here. To identify that range, that's your where component, and identify what could happen at those levels and how you're going to approach it if it happens at those levels.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how we move to a 5-minute and the levels still work? Like it's still the same support and resistance levels.
Yeah, all the levels I draw out are all, we look at all these different time frames and, we mark where essentially support is where price failed to go lower. So think of it as like a floor, right, underneath you, and then think of like resistance as a ceiling, right? So you're trading between these zones, between support and resistance, right? So say if a support level fails like 54, like we just mentioned, that becomes your new resistance level, right? So that's how it works. It's interchangeable, right? So, or
and
once
like how, even in bounce here again, Billy, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And even
rejected
just,
here again.
Throughout the day, you could just use these key levels when you draw them on your chart, as well as just looking at like reclaims of VWAP and making sure it holds or reclaim or bounces off the 21 or 8 EMAs as well. Another good one was RXT this morning. That one worked perfectly.
This was the one that you which was the one that you said was the random one that had that nasty dip that went to like 0.6 or whatever?
Oh, EasyGO.
Do you mind if we bring that one up just to show as an example of when you invalidated that? Like what was the invalidation point for you on this one? Because I remember you said like you're not touching this.
Yeah, this was disgusting, honestly. Nasty. This is like one of the scammiest things I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the biggest thing was this was trading at $3.70, 77 cents pre-market. And
Right here.
sorry, baby's freaking out.
No, you're good.
This is what it'd be like sometimes, especially when I'm trading and typing in Discord. And I honestly don't know how I manage sometimes. This is crazy.
Unacceptable.
I know, right? It's crazy. So yeah, from here, I mean, this was just like a massive just flush all throughout, honestly. It hit 377 pre-market. When a dollar broke through, sometimes it's like, all right, it's just a stop loss raid where, the bears are taking out people put stops in at $1, 80 cents, and it was just a massive drop. I thought, all right, like there's no bad news. Maybe we could try to catch a bounce. And if you look all the way at the bottom, I think around 40 cents is what I was looking for. Yeah, when I started seeing a couple green candles enter in there,
that little hammer, they try to put a little hammer candle here to fake you out.
So I'm like, listen,
confirmation.
Yeah, I was waiting for confirmation on a bounce, exactly. Because as you can see, you could have been like, hey, 70 cents is a great buy. Or when I was looking at this, I'm like, all right, this like has some real potential. There's no bad news. This could like bounce. This is just like a crazy stop loss raid. And it just kept going. It's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it's like a scammy Chinese company, I guess. It happens. But they just kept going. So there's no such thing as too low. You know what I mean?
And knowing when to not take a trade is just as important as knowing when to enter a trade. If not more, I think actually that's even more important, because the hardest part about trading is it's easy to make money. It's harder to keep it. So knowing when to leave, knowing when to not enter a trade is a huge thing. So you, as a part of making your trading plan, like I talk about those if-then scenarios, knowing when you're going to enter it or when a certain level is invalidated, like I'm not touching this. I'll wait, because there's really, you gain nothing. You actually have way more to lose if you're just chasing a stock because it's low, or you think, oh, thing's so low, it's got to bounce. No, it doesn't. Look at this. This could go to freaking zero and get delisted. And no one will bat an eye. No one cares. They got your money already, So that was a good one too. Let me go back to the slide really quick, just so I just wanted to kind of give some examples of things I'm looking for when creating a trading plan. Does anyone have any questions or need more context on what they should be looking for when they're trying to create a plan? And if your plan is to follow what me, Billy, and Brett are doing, that's fine. But you guys should still come in with your own levels. When I first started trading, I was part of groups for taking alerts or just some other people were doing. And I found myself sometimes like, wait, I'm just sitting here waiting for this guy to tell me to enter or exit a trade. I feel like a moron. I'm like, wait, this guy, is he still in the trade? Kyle, remember that for one of those groups, that Slack group we were in? We were like, wait, is he still in the trade or not? Was Kyle still on here, or did he leave?
Yeah, I'm here. I lost a ton of money by following other people's trades, and got very discouraged on that. And to Jay's point, I went big on a couple of stocks that looked low. I'm like, oh, it's only $2. The all-time high is $50. I'm gonna put 10,000 for this. It's delisted. I've had so much money just looking at like long-term charts. Like, all right, it's got to go up at some point. It's a good buy, but things do go to zero, and I've learned the hard way. Probably about 40 G's worth in total between stocks that went to zero. So
good old Seji.
Still got
that. Big thing too.
So I see you have your hand up.
Oh.
Hey,
yes,
can you go back
sir.
to GLE and Bill? Hey, Jay. Hey, Billy. Can you go back to GLE and Billy? Just show me where you entered, because I feel like I'm.
Yeah, I got you.
Right, like I think I got in at 62, and I made a couple of bucks, but I don't think my timing is right. So if you could go over that real quick, is that?
Yeah, why didn't you post it in the profit channel, man? No, I'm just kidding. Busting your balls. Yeah, go back.
So GLE, I think Billy, you said 54 was where you were looking to see it hold, right? So let's go here.
So listen, there's a couple good entries here, right? So, there's not one particular entry that, you could take. There's multiple, right? So one of them could have been 54 cents, confirming that bottom support level. So once you see that start, confirming and start reversing off that level, that could be an entry. Another one's obviously break a VWAP. And in this case, obviously, you didn't get that pullback to VWAP. So, you know, it was harder to obviously catch that dip and that reclaim. Sorry, the baby's freaking out.
No, you're good. So Jason Senior,
Yes,
let
sir.
me ask you this question: Do you have the 8 EMA or at least the 21 EMA and VWAP on your chart?
Yes, I do.
Okay, got you. So I think to Billy's point is, so if you're coming in pre-market, like the first thing, and this is no dig at Billy, this is kind of to the point me and Kyle were making before, is you don't only want to rely on Billy or rely on me or anyone else. Like throw your own levels on. They could be brief. It could be the levels Billy uses, and look for how price reacts when you get to that level. And also to combine that with your moving averages and VWAP. So remember the general bias, when you're below VWAP, price is generally bearish. So I would say, Billy, correct me if I'm wrong, if you could hear me, this is probably a more aggressive entry if you take down here. If you want to be more conservative, let us curl over the EMAs. And one thing we always talk about with the mean, like say the yellow line, the 21 EMA, price always will revert to the mean at some point or another. So even when you think you're going to miss the trade and it might be overextended from your moving averages, it will revert back to one of those moving averages. So if you want to keep your trading simple and not be trading, I don't like trading in no man's land. You want to have a place you're entering. So it could be near one of those moving averages, right? Or it could be near a moving average and a key level. Does that help?
Yes, I think so. Yep.
Okay. So, and I think for Billy's trade, like this was 5:55 in the morning, so that'd probably be the hardest spot to take it at. But once you got this break over VWAP, I would be looking for any pullbacks. Like you said, you didn't get one direct to VWAP, but you got to retest at this level here, this 0.6, you know?
Yeah.
So you could use that as an entry. This was prior resistance, and I wasn't in this trade. So Billy, you like this looks like a good entry right here on the retest of 0.6. Don't chase this candle. Wait for the back test at the 0.6 level. That's your back test.
Yeah,
long. You could have ran this up to 73 cents, you know?
And even 63, at 6:30 in the morning, as you could see, right, where there was a little like toppy around 60 cents where we have that level drawn.
Yeah.
So not only did you break that, you cleared that hurdle, that resistance level, but you also back tested it right when we broke through VWAP. So it was like a perfect entry there. You know, obviously it was so explosive and happened so quick, but I don't know, my baby wasn't happy with my trading today, I guess. She's very unhappy right now. But yeah, I mean, like another entry too is around 7:30 when you had that pullback from the initial high and you're hugging that 80 MA right there. Yep. So once you see
it's
that,
not as low of an entry as you want, but like we said, you always will come back to one of the moving averages. So 80 EMA, Billy, do you use it? I use it for trend. 21 EMA I use for the mean reversion. So trend meaning, look, we're trending over the 8, we're trending, and we're holding dips against the 8, you know? So that's a good spot too for when we're trending after a breakout. Use that 8. This one right here, I think Billy said. Okay. And it was a quick little scalp. And Billy, I'm sure you do a lot of those after you get the initial breakout and you're out of the larger position of the trade. You get those little scalps. Sorry, I don't want to. But does that help?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Sheenster.
Hey, what's up? I'm curious. Doing good. You?
Good, man. Good. What's going on?
I'm curious about, I'm hearing a lot of confirmation, and I'm curious what you look for in that. Is that just a 1-minute minting above VWAP?
So that's part of what this whole class or this whole seminar, whatever you want to call it, is about, is not using one thing for confirmation, it's using multiple. So my bad. I'm not too sure how early on you joined our chat or how late you did. But so the point of this is to kind of combine a few principles we covered earlier on, which we have videos on too. Using your moving averages, your VWAP, your supporting resistance, and candlestick structure as part of your confirmation. Meaning that you're not only looking to take, hold on, let me see if we have confirmation here. Read the trend, blah, blah, blah. I don't even care about this. Let me get out of this. Hold on. We'll go back to a chart. Let's see what chart we want to talk about. I like Tesla. Hopefully everyone else likes Tesla too.
Hmm.
So Sheen, so let's talk about Tesla. What do you trade mostly?
Awesome.
Do you trade small caps, large caps? What do you like?
I do a lot of everything.
Okay, cool. So I'm a broken record sometimes. I will keep mentioning the same thing until it happens or it doesn't happen because I'm looking at one thing and I want to see it happen in the market. So for Tesla, I mentioned many times this beautiful uptrend line that we were hitting against every time we tested it. Look, boom, rejected, 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 and boom, we finally broke out of it, right? We broke out of it, and you're looking for a retest there. So that's an example of a confirmation for a long you're looking at maybe. Or say, let's get rid of the trend line for a second. Let's talk about let's say if you were going to short Tesla. Let's say you wanted to short Tesla. And I was mentioning in chat, I said, hey, I'm taking profits at this 2-hour supply zone because that was a strong zone I drew. This zone I originated from back here. Oh, from back here. Let's get rid of this zone. This zone's invalidated. This zone's not valid anymore. This is our 4-hour zone. Sorry, let me get rid of this zone here. This zone I drew from back here on February 25th. So this is a strong zone because you see we rejected it once here, rejected again here. So I drew it again because I naturally the price acts as a magnet to go to these levels that acted as part of resistance or supply. And if we rejected it twice, pretty strong, a third time likely it gets rejected. So, and even if it doesn't, you still want to take profit at that spot. So
Gotcha.
say you were looking to short in this scenario, a confirmation you're looking for is a strong rejection of a candle. And this big red candle here could be part of your confirmation for your short. Like, okay, cool. I got this big fat red candle. I'm going to enter my short after that candle. And then I'm going to hold on to it under VWAP. As long as we stay under VWAP, I'm holding short. That's an example of confirmation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and also too, you see how we're combining multiple components here. We're combining a supply zone. We're combining, you could even use, if you want to add more layers to it, you could say, you know what? On a 5-minute time frame, I'm day trading this. Once we break under the 80 EMA and lose our trend to the upside, I'm going to hold this short, which we did. You lost the blue line here, the 80 EMA. You lost that. You lost VWAP, and you got your supply zone rejection. That's a pretty solid short to take. So that would have worked.
So the supply zone was the confirmation in this example.
The rejection of the supply zone was your confirmation for your entry short. So
I understand.
Like if you look at a 1 minute, you can see it a little cleaner versus the 5. Like it was a pretty clean rejection off of the spot here. You know, so you got a pretty clean rejection there, and you could take that for your short if you're shorting this. I'm not recommending a short Tesla right now. The market is super bullish, but if you're a good day trader and you wanted to scalp that for a short, it would have worked very well. And your first confirmation was that, and then your confirmation to hold the short would be, you know what? I don't want to only take it off of one red candle. I want to see the 80 EMA break trend as well. And you could have entered here still, and you could have got a good trade because sometimes you get those rejections and you'll just bounce. Like this could have been a fake out. You could have bounced here and it could have ran back up. This profit has to get taken at some point, right? So you could say, oh, people are just profit taking here. But then you're like, you know what? Actually, if we lose our short-term trend by the 80 EMA, when we break down this line, I'm going to enter a short. So I guess you could say it's multiple pieces for confirmation here. We had the initial rejection here. This wick here shows that some sellers were present, the upper wick. And then we broke our trend here on the 80 EMA. And if you want to even be even more safe, you're like, you know what? I'm going to wait till we try to retest VWAP and get a rejection. You could have did that too.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Cool. Anyone have any other questions on any of this? Sorry, let me turn my light on. Anyone could ask any questions in the meantime, though.
So I wasn't day trading Tesla here, but I'll ask a question as if I was. So say you got in around, I don't know, what is that, like 405 or around there, and say you wanted to like day trade this, right? At what point would it have registered to you to get out? Like if you were day trading it, you know what I mean? Not.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Best question.
Carl, my setup's not as nice as yours, man. Okay, a little better here. Actually, let me put this. There we go. Actually, I'm just gonna turn my actual light on in my apartment. Sorry. Okay. So let's go back to your question. So you said you were looking at potentially day trade. Did you trade Tesla today, or you didn't? You said
No, so I've held it since like 370, but it was like the majority of my account because I haven't really traded.
Did
Except
you
for, like,
take a
the
lot of
long-term.
profit at that 2 hour zone I said today?
Yeah, I think I took like 25% profit,
Okay, that was a
or
good
just
zone. You see that
25%
rejection?
out of my initial.
Yeah. Okay. That rejection was pretty hard. That was a good spot to take profit. It's good that you took some off there, but you have a good entry from 370. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know you're chilling. Okay. So you said if you wanted to day trade it today, what would I do?
Yeah, just theoretical. Like, I wasn't, but I picked a good spot, so that was great. But
Yeah, for sure. So I think for today, Tesla is one of those names where if you trade Tesla often, Tesla has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
So sometimes it'll give you a straight gap and go, but sometimes it'll give you a straight gap and crap. So you never really want to chase Tesla too hard out of the gate. I'm not a fan of, and Billy always talks about this too. Do not play a name at 9:30. Like
Yeah.
the market's open, like you're playing the first second the market opens. It could work, sure, but why do that to yourself? That's when the most volatility and fake outs are happening. So say today you could have did that, but one spot we always talk about and thing I talk about is your mean reversion. So let's say today the market opens 9:30. You're like, oh my God, Tesla's ripping. I need to get in right now. You could, and you would have made money. Cool. But it's just, you want to do what's repeatable in trading, not what's going to work one time. So a repeatable setup you could take is like we always talk about a VWAP hold or the mean. So if you were day trading for a scalp, say you're trading TSLL, you could scalp from here. This yellow line's your 5 minute mean. I like the 5 minute mean for pullbacks to that. You would have had a quick run from 409 to 415 right here. And if you're trading options, you can make some good money if you know how to do the right thing on that. So you don't want to be caught in no man's land with these trades, Carl. So you want to either taking it off of a level of support or resistance, but it's even better when you have double confluence of that. So I didn't really have any levels drawn in between here because I was in from a swing and I know what I was looking for. This is my target really for the trade. And we had that other supply zone I drew before. Sorry, I shouldn't have deleted that actually, because that would have been helpful too. Let me put it back on. Where'd it go? There we go. So yes. So even better. Today, 9:30. Let's do a 5 minute chart. Yeah. So another reason that too, you don't want a long direct. We had a supply zone here to open up after. So market open, 9:30, boom, we ripped. So support and resistance kind of work how supply and demand do, where a flip could work, meaning old supply could act as demand. It's not going to be as precise because this zone is pretty big, but I'm pretty sure 409 probably had some clean resistance there. Yeah, you can see right here. So around here, look, 409 was resistance here. We rejected here. Sorry, fix that. Yeah, it was prior resistance. So if you combine that with, yeah, it lined up pretty well actually for that first test of the 5 minute mean. You got that test at 409 here, so that was a pretty good spot to long off of. So I like seeing those levels of double confluence, meaning you have a moving average close to a level of support, or vice versa. If you're looking to take profit somewhere, you have a moving average close to level of resistance. Those are good profit take spots.
Okay.
Yeah, does that help?
Yeah, the other thing is, like, I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So for me, obviously you have the 2 hour mark up there at the 415. So in my mind, once I saw it get up that high and then drop down to around kind of like I guess the base, you could say, of the previous candle, the green candle.
Yep.
That's where I was like, all right, I don't want to chance it. I'd rather just take it at this point, like take a percentage of profits at that point. So I think that's where I sold, is like right there at like 413.
413?
Like 413, the red candle going down like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. So
once it broke the previous green, that's when I sold 25%.
So that's not a bad, like, also too, you're holding shares, so you're losing $3 a share, which is not terrible on a name like Tesla. It's not like you're trading a small cap and it's $6 using $3 a share.
Yeah, and again, my entry was just so low, so for me,
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
whatever.
So when you're trading options, that's why for me it was an option trade. I'm kind of
that's different.
effortlessly thinking when it hits this level, I'm scaling out most of it. I'll leave one runner if anything. Hey Justin, I'm gonna mute you for 1 second. I hear you're typing. Sorry, I'm gonna mute you for 1 sec. Thank you. So that's why, like with options, like effortlessly thinking, all right, once it hits this level, I'm out. Or if you're playing TSLL, like Frank and Brett and a lot of the guys like to do, I'd probably be out 75% here instead of 25% in double shares. Because one thing I mentioned too in chat, I don't know if you guys saw, with leverage shares, they're not just saying, hey, this is AMD 3X, we're paying you 3X because we like you. No, they invest that in certain funds that they allocate, and those rebalance every day. So there's theta in those funds where the funds aren't an exact one-to-one match for the price for the underlying stock. So meaning TSLL, the chart isn't a one-to-one match for Tesla. So you're never going to have an exact 2x, especially on days of volatility. You want to capitalize when you have those breakouts. So if you're in a name like that, Carl, you definitely want to be heavy profit taking into those levels. But I think you taking 25% off there, at least you're booking profit, because a lot of people just buy stock and hold it. I mean, I think the point of the stock market is to make money. So you want to book some profit at some point. Yeah. Unless you just want to pass the stocks to your grandkids when you die and your children, that's fine. By all means, more power to you. But personally, I want to make a little money. So I think it's good to book some profit along the way up,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for the longest time, I've been friends with Brett for a long time, so I just kind of follow, some of his trades over the last few years here and there, longer term, like a few months at a time. So the majority of my portfolio was in Tesla anyway, so I just wanted to, at least get a decent amount so I could follow more trades.
So. Especially when you're heavy. We have a good friend of ours who was heavy in SMH, and he sold out half, and he wouldn't shut up about how he sold half of it. I'm like, dude, you're full port SMH. Like, what do you want to happen? Like, you got to take profit at some point. Say, oh, but I could have made this. Me and Kyle both have to hear him talk about it every day. I'm like, bro, you made plenty of money. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Like, so as opposed to you not taking any profits at all, and you're stuck holding a bag. So it's always important profit taking, and profit taking is part of a trading plan as well. It's important to know where you're going to enter a trade and when you're going to exit a trade. If you have no plan on where you're exiting a trade, you're also just hoping. You're on hopium at that point. If you're like, okay, I'm going to see how high this goes and see what happens. No, have some general targets. It doesn't have to be to the penny. This supply zone was a pretty damn good target. It was damn near to the penny, but it doesn't have to be that close. It could be, like you said, Carl, you got at 413.
Somewhere around there, yeah. I just I don't know. I've been seeing like once it breaks the previous green candle and it looks like it's going on a downtrend with the volume and everything, then that's when I sell.
Yeah, and then also too, like you said, that wasn't a bad sell either. Because look, we broke trend, and if you waited, you would have came all the way down here, and likely you'd have been like, oh shit, we're at 403 now. I'm getting out of here. And then you would have been pissed and went back to 414 again. So
yeah, I would have been. Tough.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good that you got out of that spot because we called out that 2-hour supply. You have a plan where you're looking to exit, and you just follow it. And guess what? Sometimes the market goes higher. We can't control that. I'm not a fortune teller. Billy isn't. Brett isn't. Carl, you're not. None of us are. So you just got to follow the chart, follow your plan, and go from there.
Yo, let's pull up RXT.
Yeah, I got you. Any other questions on Tesla, by the way, for anyone? All right, RXT it is.
Yeah, I'm trying
small caps.
Yeah, the beautiful ones.
Okay. Look, before Billy tells me. 337.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
What levels did you like here? This is
I'm
from
just
today,
looking
right?
at your chart. This is from today.
Okay.
Are you on a 5? What time frame are you on?
Yeah,
I need the 1. Give me the 1 minute, please. Yeah.
You're a 1 minute demon.
With the way these stocks move, you got to be a 1 minute demon. All right, so mark right there. Yeah, you could probably even mark the levels without me telling you. Yep. Okay, so I'm just looking. Hold on.
That one here too. 260 around here. I don't know if you played that, or maybe probably here.
Yeah.
270 you had, or 260?
I can't. Hold on. I'm looking for my phone here. I'm trying to. Right there. That's fine.
270? Or you want the 25? Okay.
But I think what I really want to focus on the most out of everything is market open. because this was my plan going into market open, right? So when a stock is pushing this hard going into market open, you have to anticipate a pullback, right?
So this
Because
is
things
open
that
right
go up,
here.
that's open, right? So my exact
This is the
plan
1 minute
was to
opening candle right here.
my exact plan is to say, hey, let's, something's up that high already. Let's wait for a natural, healthy pullback to VWAP. And like I've mentioned the whole time, you might have to extend your chart further past market open here.
I got you. I should pull this here.
Yeah, perfect. Yep. So this is like a textbook VWAP confirmation right here, right? So, like I said, exactly, I knew this was going to pull back to VWAP at open, right? And what I was looking for was confirmation that this level was going to hold. So as you can see, that second lower candle that Jay circled there was that wick lower. So bears temporarily tried to pull the price below VWAP and take control. However, it wicked over, held, and in the next couple minutes, you saw that nice reversal, right? It started hugging that 8-day EMA. Just as we discussed, it's kind of a magnet for price, right? So when you have deviations from that line, you're going to see a retest. And where it really confirmed the trade for me was about 955, which was that second bounce off VWAP right there, right? So you see that bounce, a big body candle, just like an engulfing bullish candle, and you start seeing the break above both your 21 and 8 EMA. So I knew as soon as we got a double bottom off VWAP there that this was like a money trade to take that. And obviously, as you start looking back to pre-market levels, that once VWAP confirms, you're going to aim for those higher levels that we saw in pre-market, which was $4 and $4.25, and eventually even broke that level. Yeah, I'm going off the top of my head, but I think
you're on the money, bro. 425 right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then 463,
Exactly.
it's the high right there. This was a other little resistance here, 445. Like,
yeah. So look at all these levels that he drew. Look at those double circles off VWAP, that confirmation, right? The breakthrough of the EMAs, all the bullish signals that we would look for more. And then around 10:15, you get another back test of VWAP. And what happens there? Yep, you get another bounce.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. Right up. Yeah. But you could see, you had to circle that one too for the group.
Yep. The 1025 or whatever. Yep.
But look at this, guys. If you're missing these entries, just wait patiently for a pullback to these key levels. I can't stress it enough. These are all money buys. Okay. So wait for, validation off EMA levels, validation off VWAP levels. There was many
support
times
levels.
you could have gotten this trade and made money.
This is why I showed you guys just with Tesla before, why you don't chase open, you don't chase the open. This is on a small cap, the same thing. It looks super bullish into the open, and it still was bullish after the open, but this is an amateur trade. I'm not saying someone's an amateur, but this is literally the amateur move they catch you with. They will give you oh shoot, this is gapping up. Standard regular hours open, people go long, instantly bagged, and guess what? Instantly bounced at VWAP. And if you wanted to be conservative, like Billy said too, if you played this first VWAP bounce, you really had no reason to sell this, even when it pulled back here, because it never went below your stop. It never went below your entry. You never lost, you never broke. But if you want to be conservative, Billy, like you said, that 8 and 21 crossover, when you get that positive convergence on lower time frames, price starts trending in a positive direction.
Yeah, and I think that's something's really going to help you guys out. The ones who don't have like an account balance over 25,000, the second they lift that PDT rule for you guys, you're going to be able to go in and out, right? There are no restrictions at that point. So you could take that trade at 935, right? That first VWAP. You could scalp it and sell at, the failure of that 8 EMA. Mm-hmm. You could re-enter on that second retest at VWAP. You could sell at that key level that Jay drew at 424. You could re-enter on that third bounce, like I told you. Like, there's no one right entry. So the second they remove PDT in a month, you guys are going to be able to go crazy on these stocks. And I know a lot of you are going to do really well because you're not going to be focused on hitting that one perfect trade. You're going to be able to hit a multitude of great entries and do really well. You guys are going to be surprised at how well you're going to do. And don't be discouraged for the ones that don't, have that, and just have the cash account and don't have that like margin account yet. because your day is coming, and as long as you stick with it and you understand what we're saying, you're going to do really well with this. So, but yeah, I mean, you could see with the lines we drew, the key indicators we're talking about, all the potential entries here that made a great play at open. So,
and this is about combining everything together. It's not just Billy's not just like just has VWAP on his chart and that's it. No, he's using, okay, these are my key levels here. We're holding over 337. I'm looking for a pullback to VWAP. I'm looking for a crossover of the 8 and 21 EMA to see a positive convergence there and potentially go long. This is the point of this, tying it all together. There's no one like, oh, price hit 337, I'm going long. No, use the other tools in your kit. That's the point of using all these different things. And we're not even talking about volume yet. And Billy, I know that's a big one for you that you're going to use for your confirmation as well. But honestly, call me crazy, I don't use volume that much. I really trust my levels. Volume's great, but it's just another level of Confluence to add to your system. So why not use it? You know, and especially if you learn how to read it.
Yeah, for small caps, it's probably a little bit different than the large caps because you want to see volume on key like resistance breaks or breakthrough VWAP, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is like a textbook perfect example. We could pull up another one I played, ATRA.
Yep. Sorry,
and I hope you guys are.
Anyone have any questions on this chart though? Anyone trade this today? Anyone have any questions on it?
The only thing
I had a question
on
a different stock. If not that Billy, that Billy mentioned yesterday that have stock in that had an all-time high for HUT. Just how to analyze a chart where it gaps up 35% to all-time highs, and it's such a huge gap up. How to even analyze that chart? It pulled back today at one point, I think like 12-13%, and today I think 8% down. But just where to go from here, because I'm kind of lost how to look at this thing now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm happy. It was great. I have good stock on it, so I was pumped. And like now, I'm like, I don't know now what. Do I sell it or?
Let me ask you a question, Kyle. Have you taken any profits on HUT?
No.
When do you plan to take profits?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gapped up 35% yesterday, so had good news. News broke out. They have like a $10 billion lease. So like, I'm like, it's gonna run up more. Or, I mean, today it pulled back.
They ran up on a freaking miss. That's crazy. So I think two things.
You know why though, right, Jay?
What's up?
You know why? I've been pounding the table on HUT. I've been pounding the table on HUT since it was a $30 stock. And one of my old neighbors actually was like director of HR there, and he had stock options. He had stock options, and he freaking left the company when the stock was $30. So that was a big L on his end. He fumbled the bag pretty hard. But yeah, anything like Intel, right? Intel, Trump administration took 10% stake. You got HUT 8. You got Eric Trump, I think, on the board of directors or whatever, or some kind of big role. Anything that they have their hands on in the stock market's like pretty much money. Crypto, not so much. Trump coin's a piece of shit. Ivanka coin or whatever the fuck all these, coins that they create. But
so when me and Kyle were talking about being part of a group and taking other people's trades, HUT was one of those we did take. And we were in HUT, Kyle, before, what was the price? What was our first price on HUT? Like $7 or $8?
Nah, we got it was like $2-3.
Yeah, bro.
I felt it for a while. I'm like right now I'm up like 700% on it.
Yeah. So now I'm asking you this question: what percent is good enough for you to take profits? That's the question you have to ask.
I don't know. If it goes up more, then I want more percent. That's the problem. I think is most people have as traders. So
no, 100%. So the same thing you told Dave. What SMH? We'd be happy you made money. Be happy you made money. I'd start booking some profits. I'm going to tell you to book profits. It's going to jump another. It's going to go to 150, I bet. But so to answer your question on how to find levels over all-time highs, there's a few ways to look at that. One way to do it is to use kind of measure, like if a stock is trading in a flag, you could use a measured move, meaning that say this is your flag here, right? From 46 to, what is this, 46 up to, let's say, from 76, 30 points. This is your little flag area here. This is not really a clean flag, but say it's good enough.
Yeah, do better, Jay. Do better.
Good enough. Say that's your, so you use a measured move, meaning that measure from the base of the move. So you had about 30 points up here, and then you're pretty damn close to your other next 30 points up. So
Yeah, exactly. So like you
exact
want to
30
measure
points up. That's pretty crazy. That's exact 30 points up.
you want to
So
you want to measure that pole. Pause.
Big pause on that.
So right
But,
there, right? So if it's a 30 point, and this same concept applies to small caps. The same concept applied to SNDK. I measured it out, and that's why I knew about $1,400 I was going to start seeing that drop.
Yeah.
Because I measured the first massive run up, you had that consolidation to the flag, and then you had your second leg. And the way stocks really, a lot of the way stocks moves, it's a 2-leg type of run, right? And it's not off unless you have like an insane momentum stock in the small cap world where we get like 1,000, 2,000%. I can't wait for those because we're all going to bank. You'll know what real momentum is when I call these out. Like AIXI was awesome, right?
Is your leg 1 here, like Billy
Yeah.
said, and your leg 2, you're in it. You're in your leg 2. You're waiting for leg 3, Kyle. Leg 3 might not happen. Leg 3 is going to be the other way. Back down is be
waiting
leg
for it
3.
to sell back at a penny like everything else I did.
Or Kyle, take 25, 50% off the table and let the rest run.
Yep.
Again,
I always
like
say that.
what's your entry?
It's low. It's like some 20s on some, 30s on some.
Listen, I mean, if you believe in this in the long term, let the rest ride. You know, I mean, you have such a great entry in it that, you know, the biggest thing we preach is let your winners ride, right? It's obviously different in small cap world because they move so quick and the moves aren't sustainable, right? But on something that's an actual company with actual revenues and influence, right? You know, take some off the table though for sure over $100. And $100 is going to be your key support level. I think it dipped below and actually reclaimed that today, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't pay too much attention to
you're
it.
right.
So
Yeah.
Kyle, use this. Like you want to. This is your gap support here. I always talk about
Yeah.
like honestly, I used to be scared to trade gap ups. Gap ups are very easy to trade if it holds the gap support. That's your level you're
Yes.
looking long off of, and use that as your general bias, Kyle. As long as this holds, you kind of have an idea that price is still in an uptrend. But my honest advice to you, dude, take half off. Take half off. Let the
Yeah,
rest run no
I
matter
agree
what.
with that.
There's no reason to not take half up 700% on stock, not even options. Like there's zero reason to not take profit on it. Unless you know something that we don't know and Eric Trump texted you something else. But
Nah,
otherwise,
yeah. If I know this correctly, I think Hut 8's a minor.
yeah, it's a crypto miner. And also too, Bitcoin's not even like doing too hot right now. I mean, it had a failed breakout today. So I'd be keeping that in mind too, because if Bitcoin starts pulling back more, I'm not saying it's going to. I'm saying if it does, HUD's going to eventually get impacted by that. So, and you're going to be pitched like, damn it, I should have took profits. Like, at least take half off and let the rest run. You still have skin in the game on it.
Yeah. Can you pull up SNDK? Because
Yeah.
I want to do the same thing on SNDK, and this
For
is
sure.
kind of why I wanted to take a short. And everyone calls me crazy for doing these, but I usually nail the top of all these stocks. Car was another one. I shorted Car over $800, and I should have held it because that would have been epic. But that was, you know, I'm always looking for a short on these like moves that don't make sense or the moves that move up too quickly.
So before Billy even says it, Billy, this is the base. This is the base for your measure
Yes.
right here, right? Yep. See, guys, that's like part of. So Kyle, just not to pick on you, but when you entered your trade, just make sure you have a plan like going forward where you're going to exit. That's part of like having a plan for your trade. But so what we were talking about for this is another thing we didn't really teach yet, guys. I learned this a little later in trading is what Kyle asked about where do you like one confusing thing when I first started trading, like stocks at an all-time high. I'm like, oh crap, where are we going next? Where are we going next? Who knows? All-time high. Measured moves I like to use. So that's kind of what Billy was talking about here.
Yeah. So you kind of you calculate, or not calculate, but just see what the range is.
It could be general. Like your flagpole here, you have 300 points.
You have a consolidation, so mark off that.
Yep. You have your range.
Top and low. Yep,
This
right
your
there.
range right here.
Mark that. Mark the
It could
bottom.
be whatever we want to call this range here. This is pretty much a little trading range here. Not
your bull
clean,
flag. And then measure up to yeah. And measure above that and see how many points that is.
And then up to here. This is another. It overshot it. Yeah, it overshot it, which is even more of a reason that you're over your measured move point of your base was 987 here. You're about 400 points up instead of 300.
And on me, and you know why I took the short at 1370 because I calculated that exact base and it overshot at 100. So I was a day too early. But look at that candle right here. Look at the daily. That's a pretty ugly looking candle that it looks like you're going to retest that moving average, that blue
and
moving
this
average
is like,
line.
I didn't teach you guys yet. This is what we call a supply zone print. So whenever you have a basing candle like that followed by a red candle, so Billy, that was a really good snipe. We printed some daily supply here too.
Yeah, I'm
So
not selling.
that's
I'm literally holding this position because I feel like we're going to hit 1250, if not lower. That moving average
I
line.
think 1250, 100%. Yeah, it's gonna. But you have a
If
gap to
not
fill here
lower.
too. Yeah, it's gonna fill this gap here. It's gonna tag the daily 8 right here, 1247.
So I'm going to let my position ride. And obviously, I could reconsider it if I start getting closer to a break even, or I can consider averaging up, I guess would be for
On
yeah.
a retest of the
in
supply
short term,
zone.
right?
If you retest the supply zone, it'll be printed here now. You could take a retest of that if you want to average up into it.
And
sure.
1400 actually retested about 2 or 3 times today, and it couldn't break through.
Look,
so that was actually more confluence to
printed the
add to
supply
my short.
here, and
I kind of missed it. Otherwise, I probably would have doubled down.
look at the test here and rejected. So
yeah, that $1,400 level. Yeah, and if you want to pull up that ATRA from today, that was a great play too.
yeah.
And again, guys, like make sure you mark your levels, set your alerts on TD or whatever brokerage you have, because as you saw, today was an afternoon runner with ATRA. It shook out a lot of people, and then it decided to run in the afternoon because a key level broke. So
But
go to the
guys,
1 minute.
really quick, Billy, I just want to call something out that you did. Did you see how Billy, like SNDK, has been flying for days, months, weeks? Billy didn't say SNDK is too high, I'm going to short it. He had a trading plan where he used a measured move, and it overshot that measured move for a failed breakout, and it worked out great. So great trade, Billy. Good high conviction setup. But you had a plan. That's the point. You had a plan. You came in and you used these different tools we're talking about here. I know the measured move one's a little newer. I just kind of randomly started talking about it, but just using different things as part of your system is how you come up with a trading plan, not just throwing a dart at the board and hoping shit sticks.
So mark off $9, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so $9 was your pre-market high, right? Or $8.98, which I told Jay to mark off. What happened was we actually pulled back to our moving average.
My bad. Let me go to 1 minute for you. Yeah. So this is at 8 a.m. Well, first test was at like 8 or so, 8 a.m. We came here.
Yeah, just move it to just put $9. That's perfect, because what I want to call out really is just the afternoon move. So you might have to zoom out a little bit more.
Gotcha.
So the most important thing is to always mark off during the day, see what your pre-market high is, see what your opening high is, right? And set your alert. Set your alert on your brokerage for $9. Because what happens
use a trading view, it's very easy. Just this little arrow, add alert right here. And every time it hits, you'll get it.
Guys, you don't have to be glued to your phone looking for these things. Set the alert on the key level. And then once you start breaking, right? So as you see, $9 was that key level, key resistance level from pre-market, right? So that's where there was tons of supply, no buyer stepped in. So that's kind of where we tapped out there, right? What happened was you pulled back underneath VWAP and kind of rejected VWAP a couple times throughout the day, right? But as you can see, around $7, which Jay will mark from about 9:30 to 10, right? What happens is this formed a really nice base, right? So price pulled back all the way to $7 at market open, kind of pulled up.
He's talking about like this here, this little range you're trading it down here. That's your base. Like when you see price consolidating like this, a move is generally going to happen. You don't know which way yet, but that's when you combine using your moving averages and VWAP and your levels. But this is what you want to see before a move happens, this little consolidation.
Yeah, and what's beautiful here, right, is that you see those couple wicks below that demand zone, and that's how they try to fake you out, right? They want people to think, oh, this is going lower than 7, and then that's when the major move happens. It's a nice liquidity sweep, right? So they take out people's stops, and then they run the price up from here. So $7 was a great entry as well because you saw a base there, and then you saw a breakthrough of those moving averages. But a really key setup, right? There's tons of entries you could take on this, right? But the big setup for me was that break of $9, which Jay put those 2 circles on. So
Prior
when we
resistance
actually,
here.
So the more times a resistance test, when you actually break through that, the more explosive of a move it could become, right? So I think it was about 12 o'clock or 12:15. Yeah,
Right
mark
here.
that breakthrough. Yeah. So we actually halted right up. And that's always an amazing sign when you halt through a
Key
a
level there.
marked
Yeah.
resistance level, right? So what everyone typically, fear of missing out, everyone freaks out, whatever, blah, 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 blah. What you want to do on these breakouts, make sure you get that retest of that breakthrough level.
Right
So
here.
right where Jay
Clean.
marked, right? That $9. You see how price just kind of stuck to that previous resistance level? That's now a support level. That's how this works, right? So when you break through a resistance level, that's now support. And what happened was it took some
Billy,
time. But
1 second. Stevens has his hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the setting the alerts thing, right? I still don't understand how to do that.
What broker are you using?
Thinkorswim.
Billy, on mobile,
Twitch.
I don't use mobile alerts on Thinkorswim. I use it on TradingView, but what do you use for mobile alerts on Thinkorswim?
Yeah, it's what I showed him too, but sometimes it doesn't like come through, or it's a little tricky sometimes. I think on the desktop version it's more like, what's the word? It like
Well,
makes a ping or
I'm using
something.
I'm using the mobile, and I'm looking at the alert list right now. It says last bid, ask, mark, vol index, front,
Yeah,
back.
you'd
Like
want to do
I'm
like
mixed up with
greater than or equal to like $9, and then you would hit create alert, and then on the chart it should draw a line, like a blue line, I believe, across on that level, and it should alert you.
Okay.
Do you see that, Chris?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
But you could see, right? Like that $9 level is stuck like a magnet. Bears couldn't break that previous resistance level, which is now support. So you had that confluence and you had that confirmation. That's what we always look for, that move is going to continue higher. And as you saw after that, off that, you go back to retest that $10 zone. And then you had another pullback to 940. So you're starting to make higher highs, right? I mean, higher lows, right? You're pulling back, and then you ripped up a few more times throughout the day. I think this hit about 1250. So you have to, mark your alerts, because sometimes with these small caps, they'll run them at like 12 in the afternoon, or they'll run it at, look at that halt too.
Yeah, nasty. Damn, they ran this up.
But then they dropped it too. So like that's why you don't want to chase. You want to wait for confirmation. So as you saw, everything started failing. On the pullback, there was no ads because there was no confirmation or no base forming.
There was never any kind of, even like you got a base here, but like we talk about using our other tools, you were under the 80 MA, you lost all key levels, a huge failed breakout.
Look at all those bag holders. I mean, from freaking $12 to $9, you're cooked. You're not getting that
people
price
probably
back.
thought like, oh my God, we're curling back up here. We're good. Nope. Boom.
Nope. But
Smoked.
yeah, and look at that gap on the chart on that last hold up.
This?
Yeah. So that's what you want to, naturally you could expect a pullback to quote unquote fill that gap, right? And if it fills the gap and continues going lower, you're cooked. However, if it fills the gap and starts bouncing from that gap fill zone, you could have some more legs in the run.
So like you want to see that I always talk, guys, the same concepts apply to large caps, small caps, all that crap. You'd want to see the support of this gap hold. Like the same thing I was talking about, like gap ups on, like, say we were talking about HUT, SNDK, those names where you want to see gap ups hold. But say for Billy, he wants to see that gap fill to the downside on SNDK now. He's short, not a hold. But same thing here. You're seeing this gap fill to the downside, no hold here, smoked.
Yeah. And that's why you guys, like, you just have to be patient with these. I know everyone's like, listen, I know a couple of you guys have like 1 or 2 trades you could do a day, and you want to make your money. You don't want to miss the moves. That's when you're going to end up losing, is when you force these trades. So be patient. Watch the names I call out in pre-market, the 3 or 4 that, and there's some names I call out that'll just never have legs throughout the day, right? But I list out all the levels and I prepare you guys that if these levels start hitting, to look for those next targets up. But, I think there was like 3 or 4 winners from today between RXT, GLE, ATRA, a few of those, right? SanDisk hit. But yeah, just wait. Like, be patient. Wait for, retest of these key indicators like the moving average line, VWAP, or breakthrough in, retest. These stocks aren't going anywhere. And the second that the market slows down for you is the second you're going to start doing better for yourself.
Yeah.
I know things seem like they move fast, especially in the small cap world, but you just got to be patient with it. And the second you start doing what we're talking about here is the second you're going to start banking every single day. We have a very high win rate because, we're disciplined and we're waiting and we're patient and we mark these things and we do the prep work. I mean, I'm up at 6 a.m. doing this stuff for you guys to walk through the plan for you, right?
Yeah, and I challenge you guys. Billy's doing that at 6:30 in the morning. Like, he's giving you the scans, he's giving you his levels. Take the 15-20 minutes to draw the levels that he's talking about on your chart, or just try to draw some levels yourself and adjust them based off what he says. It doesn't take that long to do. You can do it on mobile. I literally, when Billy was out those 3 days, I was in my car drinking pre-workout and doing it. It's pretty simple to do. It's just numbers on a chart. Like, guys, when you're looking at support and resistance, don't make it this big scary thing. I did that to myself at first when I was learning how to chart. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to chart. Oh, I don't want to share this. People are going to make fun of me. If you post a chart in the group, I'll guarantee no one will make fun of you. And if someone made fun of you, we'll ban them from the group. That's not what this is here for, right? Like, post your chart. Don't be scared. Like, we're here to comment and help you. Like, there's nothing scary about a chart. There's nothing scary about someone commenting, say, hey, you should try this level instead. We're all here to grow and help each other. So feel free to post your chart. Like, if Billy says, hey, I'm looking at this $9 level here, you could draw your chart and say, hey, Billy, this is like a good level here, 938. And guess what? It is. And or maybe he's like, wait, no, sorry, use this level. There's no shame in that. So challenge yourself a bit, draw some levels yourself. Don't just wait for Billy only to, or wait for me. Like, help yourself, help you help yourself. Billy's doing the legwork already, finding the names to play and giving you his plan. It doesn't hurt to add levels to your chart yourself too.
And just be patient, right? Like, stop. Another thing too is a lot of people are like, they're waiting for the top to come in and then they're waiting for the top to pull back. Sometimes we're at the move's already exhausted, right? And then you start a downtrend when you start breaking through your moving average, right? So in this example, right, if you look at that, let's just use the yellow moving average line, the 21.
I'm gonna get rid of the 8 for a second. Hold on, so it's easier to everyone see.
Yeah. So just look at that yellow line, that trend line underneath the candlesticks, how it's kind of like moving up, right? But as you can see, the price held beautifully on this trend line all day long, right? And when you get to that last halt and you see these violent, disgusting looking red, like engulfing candles here, and you break through that trend line, that's how you know this is going lower. It's like absolutely cooked at that point. You know what I mean? Because bears have control. You're starting a downtrend now. And then right where Jay has his mouse hovered, that green candle, to the right, right there, to the right.
Right here?
Right there. Yeah. You see that you're trying to retest that moving average line, you get rejected. So that officially starts the downtrend move, right? You broke through that moving average line, you're pulling back up because it's a magnet, right? And you reject again. And look where price
also
went ever
too,
since.
we had this level that was previously support is now acting as resistance too. So why would you want to long this? Just because it's low?
But people, that's the problem, is that people overtrade these two as well, right? Like, you could be like, oh, this is going to pull back. It's going to repeat the past pattern from the few halts. But you have to just be patient and wait for that confirmation that, hey, you're going to get that bounce from that play. Because if you're not, you're just going to get cooked. Like, especially on the small caps, man, these are not forgiving. Like, you have to understand that if you're playing my plays, like, you've all been through them. Like, you have to really take them seriously, and you have to like respect the levels, and you have to respect the confirmation. And if you don't, you're going to lose.
Anyone have any questions on this chart? Because I want to go over a chart that everyone seems to be madly in love with, ONDS. But Sheenster, go ahead.
I'm curious how you guys feel about using liquidity sweep as a area of Confluence for confirmation. Because on this chart, it looks like it played out very well.
It did, yeah. And I think, like I'm saying, right, it's hard for some people here because they don't have the 25,000 in their account to make multiple trades. I could trade the crap out of this all day based on all the indicators and everything I talked about, right? So I could look at this chart and be like, hey, there was a liquidity sweep at 680. Like, you broke through that $7 range and you reclaimed it, right? and you could take entry right off that candle right there. To the right, Jay.
No, I'm just trying to pull this down here.
Right there. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. When you see that bullish hammer candle right there, you know, and we swept out all those stop losses and, you know, the bull started taking this price up. That's a great entry.
Nice failed breakdown. So, guys, what you saw about liquidity sweep, I kind of refer to as a failed breakdown. That's why you never set your stop loss exactly at a level, because market makers know that, hey, all those retail losers, all of us losers here who are trying to make some money, we're going to set our stop loss at $7, and they're going to fake you out and do instead of $7, they're going to do $6.77, and then boom, failed breakdown, failed breakdowns, and failed breakouts. You can make a living off of trading those two setups. Of failed breakouts trading short and failed breakdowns trading long. You can make a living off just trading those two. If you're patient enough to wait for it all day or all morning, whatever, you can make a living off of that. So Sheen's there, that's yeah. So liquidity sweep, failed breakdown. I think that, yes, that's a great way to look at trades too.
Yeah, there's plenty, you know what I mean? There's plenty of entries you could take, right? You know, bounces off the moving averages, breakthrough and reclaim a VWAP, you know, retesting prior resistance, which is now support, that $9 level we spoke about. So when you guys get that PDT rule restriction lifted in a month, I think a lot of you guys are going to start banking really hard. I think you guys are all facing like a psychological barrier right now that, hey, I have to nail that 1 or 2 trades a day that are going to be green, and then you know, it starts dipping a little bit on you and you get nervous and you sell it, and then you're pissed off because your day's red, right?
Yeah, don't burn out before then, guys. Don't burn up your capital before that rule comes out. Be easy.
Yeah, be patient. Like trade, just try to learn what we're doing, and then when that rule is lifted, like you guys are just going to be staring at this from 7 to 10, 10:30 and just making so much money.
Yeah.
Carl,
I think you had one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into my question. So I don't have the over 25K balance yet. So for the past couple of weeks, for context, I've been following, you know, what you've been doing in the morning, Billy, and just trying my best to understand it. On the opposite side, I'm almost like psyching myself out by using volume, and I've been getting really, I think I've been getting really good at it. But basically, like looking at volume and momentum swings, like to talk myself out of like getting into a trade too late or getting in too early kind of thing. So my question is, am I getting myself in a bad habit of using the volume too much to determine? But I've noticed that I've saved myself a lot. And I've noticed, because if I had more of a balance that I would have gotten in the trade, I would have done really well. So I'm trying to like identify how, like, should I weigh volume a little bit less than I'm weighing it to get into a trade, or, you know, kind of.
I think when you're looking at breakthroughs of VWAP and you're looking at specifically breakthroughs and reclaims of, like, when you see like a volume surge through VWAP, that's usually like a golden ticket right there.
Like here.
Yeah, see, like 10 though, when I saw that the red and then I saw the drop, I was like, oh, I'm not going to get on this. And then I made coffee, whatever, and I looked 5-10 minutes later, whatever it was, and then it went all the way up, and I was like, oh shit, I missed that one.
So one thing I noticed too, Billy, I don't know if you see a lot of small caps. A lot of times when you see a red volume surge into a key level and price doesn't break, that's usually a big fake out and showing that buyers are absorbing that. So like you see these volume surges here in the red, and that price didn't really break down this level, didn't really break down this EMA here. Like buyers are absorbing that.
Yeah, so I think the most beautiful part about that is shows that so many shorts piled into that 1 minute candle, and they failed to break that key level to make the price go lower. So if anything, that's a bear trap. You know, bears think, hey, I broke through VWAP, but they didn't get that confirmation, and then you just start seeing, you know, the move upward. So I think really it's just respecting those levels, but I like seeing a huge surge through VWAP. I think it was one of the plays that we looked at earlier, one of the other charts, that GLE or something, I think. That one had like massive volume through VWAP. But
I think we were looking at that before, yeah. This we have, right here. Still drawn right here.
Yeah. I mean, and in addition to volume, also look at the range of the candle. Like, look how big that body of the candle is. Like, if you're a short, now imagine you're shorting this on the other end of the trade. I always try to like encourage people to think on the mindset of the other side of the trade, right? If you're a short, you're starting to freak out. Just as if you're in a long and you're position drops $1 per share. The same thing is happening here, where you would be losing $1 per share as a short because you make money when the price drops, not goes up, right? And when we really see some amazing momentum stocks, and I encourage you guys all to be patient because they're coming. We're gonna catch 1,000, 2,000% soon. Whenever that money rotates into small caps,
when the group first started up, bro, you were hitting 200, 300% every day.
We had
I'm
a
like, damn, I feel bad.
1,200% swing.
I'm not
Yeah,
posting anything.
I had a 5,500% in September.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have this Discord, like some life-changing shit, right? So just be patient. We're trading what the market gives us. If you could survive this small cap market, when that momentum comes in, you guys are just gonna like rake it in. But yeah.
But yeah, Carl, just make sure, I would say, like, don't fall for the fake outs in volume. Like, volume is a tool to not only be used within itself. Use it in conjunction with your support levels, your VWAP, your EMAs, and like Billy said, that was a bear trap on the other one, but you saw the surge in volume. And think about it, like Billy said, the sellers that had that much volume and they couldn't break the level. What does that tell you? That their buyers absorbed it.
There.
Yeah. So use it in conjunction. So I don't think it's bad that you're using volume. And also, too, I don't think it's bad right now that while you're learning, you're hesitating to take a trades. I think it's better that you're hesitating to take a trade than to blindly jumping into a trade.
Yes.
While you're learning.
Just don't boil your capital, like, please. Like,
yeah,
these things move. Like, I'm very, very experienced in these stocks. Like, this is all I play, and I'm better at these than large caps. So, I know what to anticipate, and I know what I'm looking for, and I know to be patient on these because, if you chase something at the top here, look at the drop, and then a lot of the times you're going to sell, because your position sucks at a loss. So just be patient. There's always going to be another stock. We find them every single day. I'm posting these stocks for you guys. So, like, don't be dumb and blow up your account before you can actually learn it.
Yep.
Respectfully.
Yeah. I was just worried I was putting too much, like, conscious into the volume itself.
No, I think you're doing all the right things and, just learning how they all move. So again, once that PDT drops, I mean, you guys are really going to take off because there's no reason for you not to be taken, even if it's $5 on a trade and re-entering on another indicator. Say you mess up entry, I mean, you could exit that trade. PDT, like, getting rid of that, you could take as many trades as you want. If you had FOMO and you got in high, you could cut that super quick and you could be patient and wait. Whereas if you guys have 2 trades a day now and you're fucking up both of them, then you're getting bummed out and you're getting discouraged. So it's going to be huge for everyone once that rule gets lifted.
I'm gonna go to this ONDS here because I'm gonna call all y'all out really quick, not in a bad way. I hope you guys see when I mention a stock often does not mean I'm obsessed with the stock. It means that I'm just giving you an update on it. And everyone is thoroughly obsessed with ONDS right now, and we shouldn't be. And one thing I had called about ONDS is that it's in a range and it's reporting earnings on Monday, May 18th. So anything can happen until earnings because a lot of times a stock needs a catalyst for it to move. And ONDS being a stock that's $8 needs a catalyst for it to move. And you can see we're very much range bound right now. So don't marry this stock. So one thing I've mentioned too, I first mentioned ONDS, and guys, I know some of you weren't in from the beginning, so I'm aware of that. But ONDS, I can go back. I have to go back really far to see the first time I mentioned it.
Yeah, but this is why I also said in general chat too, like, don't be surprised if this touches $8 too before that next move up.
Yes.
You broke through 9 here and you actually closed under $9, correct?
Yes.
So if you draw that $8 level, I want people to know what to expect.
Yeah. I mean, and also too, if it goes to $8, guys, let's get rid of the 930 level that I mentioned. It's still in a range. Like, it's not even like the setup's completely done. It's still in a range. And look, ONDS has been in a range since the end of January. It's range bound, like I said. I said this will stay range bound. And look, it's literally range bound. The range goes from up to 1240 down to basically $8, 7 and some change, So I first mentioned ONDS. Brett first mentioned it early April. I think the first time I started really looking at it was around this time period too, when we're getting over the 21 EMA. And a lot of moves I look for, like I said, I'm using the 21 EMA, our 200, we're over the 200, which is a great spot if we tag that. We haven't yet. And the 50-day. So we started getting this positive convergence over here. And this is where I was first looking at it. And we got a quick move from here from 973 to this $11 mark that I've been mentioning is a lot of resistance here. And there's a supply zone here. So it made its first move. And after that, what I was looking for, I like to see some short, let me put the 8 here, some immediate moves hold. I wanted to see it hold the 21 and the 50-day here. And it's losing that look. You're getting that negative.
Are you muted, brother?
Who muted me? Billy, you muted me, bro?
I think I muted myself. I honestly don't know what I did there.
It said you've been muted. I'm like, damn. Who muted
I'm
me?
sad. Yeah, shut up, Jay. I'm savvy with charting stocks, but I don't know how to work a damn Teams meeting. So
all good. Sorry. Thanks, Carl. So no, I was saying like I was initially looking for this to have a short-term little play out here, and like I want to see some things in the immediate term happen when we're in it long. So I'm gonna go over this in detail for y'all. When the stock didn't have this here, we were trending over. We got the 8/21 crossover. We got the bounce, the hold of the 50-day, and we got to move to $11. We even got it up to over $11 at some point. But then we rejected that supply zone. We came back here. I'm like, okay, we didn't have this data here yet. We had this chart data. We were holding the 21. We were holding these spots here, trending over it. But once that starts to break down, again, I'm not saying, oh my God, the world's over, ONDS is going to zero. I'm saying no. Losing our immediate term look. There's hundreds of other stocks out there, ones that I've been pounding the table on, IGV. But don't say like don't marry this idea. Like I'm not marrying it. You shouldn't either. Like now let's let it come down to the 200-day maybe. Or like I said, immediate for me was last week's low because that's 9.3. We're under last week's low now. It doesn't look as great short term, but really, what has the stock done? Nothing really. It's range bound. So it's not dead. It's over. It's scale in, have some skin in the game and let it play out and know that earnings are on Monday. So, Monday, May 18th. So be cautious with knowing that's in mind. I'm not saying go ahead and sell all your shares now if you're in already. If you want to, feel free to. But just know we're range bound until earnings happen. I honestly, we had this first test of our $11 here. It didn't break out clean over this. We're still in range, so we're gonna probably not move until earnings happens. And I don't know what's gonna happen on earnings. If I did, I'd have a lot more money than I do. So let's wait till earnings happens, and you could trade it after earnings. Or if you're scaling in small for shares now, let it play out and just continue to add it on dips. As long as we're holding a 200-day here, generally the trend's intact. This name hasn't breached the 200-day since it's been a decent stock to trade. So it's been trending up. Like, let this play out.
Yeah, just know that there's a chance to backtest that, which is what I said in the chat before. I'm not playing this. I don't do these type of plays. I like my quick adrenaline hits every day, but yeah, just know that there's a shot to backtest that 200 EMA or that $8 support level that you see there. So, and if that breaks, just know there's more downside.
Yeah, and it's not. Hopefully anyone who's asking directly about ONDS, don't think this. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about everyone because everyone loves ONDS right now. Like I think people like see some stocks like this happened with Brett with ASTS and ALAB. Everyone was obsessed with ASTS and ALAB as he mentioned it, and it went down. Every dip is not a dip to buy. Just know that. So this is when you take your full tool set into account here. Where are we at in terms of our EMAs? Where are we at in terms of overall trend? Are we in an uptrend? Are we in a downtrend? Are we range bound? Stocks do three things. They go up, down, or they go sideways. Right now, unfortunately, ONDS is doing the third one. It's going sideways. So there's not really a clear actionable move you can make off this, except you could add into the dips on it. Anyone have any questions on ONDS?
Thanks for clarifying breakdown.
No problem, KP. I know you like ONDS too. And honestly, the setup looked a lot better a few days ago, and that's why we have to be nimble in the market because things could change pretty quick. KP, you were on this pretty early, so you probably got a good entry and you probably were initially green on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
now we're back under this moving average, so we're in wait and see mode. That's why you don't size up too heavy early on for something that's range bound.
I don't want to scare people here too, but like, just know all this stuff's based on like the market continuing to go up.
Mm-hmm.
At any day, if like Iran tension and all this stuff like escalates, or we go into an actual like feet on the ground war with them, or this whole hantavirus thing that's coming out. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but if it really becomes the next COVID-19 pandemic, just know all this shit could fucking crash on you. That's personally why I like day trading more, because I don't have to worry about things overnight and I can control my risk daily. But just know that nothing's guaranteed. Like, a global event could happen, or a macroeconomic event, or Trump says some stupid shit, and all these levels go out the window and could collapse. We're at all-time highs in the stock market. You guys have to understand that. We are bound for a correction soon. So everyone
and that's
has
why
to
you
be
always
very
aggressively take profits up here. You always got to be booking profits up here when you're up on Tesla and all these other names. Like, again, it could go higher. You could be like SMH and the stock just keeps rocketing, but I like taking profits. Cool. Yeah, I didn't want to be too formal tonight, guys. I had that presentation, which kind of went out the window, but the really goal of this was to kind of put everything together of what Billy, Brett, and I do. Brett and I often look at the same names. I don't trade small caps like Billy, but we use a lot of the same tools in our trading. So often we'll see a lot of same overlap when we're talking about things together in small caps or large caps, because it's all about having a system that works for whatever ticker or whatever basket of stocks you're applying it to. And you just want to combine these tools and be able to make a game plan for yourself, So does anyone have any, we've been on here for a minute. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, anything we could help you with, general guidance? Let us know. Just do a little open forum now.
I think this is better than a slideshow, I'm gonna be honest with
Yeah.
you. I think there's nothing better than chart review.
No,
Nothing
I
better
think this
than
is
back
great.
testing our strategies and talking about where we went wrong and talking about what we did well. That beats a PowerPoint slide. PowerPoint slides don't mean shit in the market. As long as you get that screen time in and you lock in, that's all that matters.
Lock in, like Billy said. That's it. If you take one thing away from this, lock in.
That's it, man. If I could trade these stocks, hold a newborn, and type in Discord at the same time, I have confidence you guys could do this as well. I'm very confident in you all.
Yeah, no, we had some good attendance tonight, guys, which is great. Appreciate you guys showing up. Anyone have any questions?
Now keep showing us the charts. Us seeing the charts and the levels on repetition, just like working out. Just need to see it again and again. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I really want to do that recap on the trading recap daily. It's just, my time's been a little tight recently, so I haven't had the time at the end of the day to do it, to be honest. Because I'm doing this all day and family first. So, but I think just being able to get those recaps at some point would be really helpful. Like I did with I forgot the ticker. Again, I don't even remember the names I trade because they're just shit companies, right? I just look for that quick hit and I throw them to the side. You guys got to realize it's hot potato, right? So just like there's sector rotation in large caps from software to finance or whatever, the same thing happens with small caps every day. So, RXT will move, and then guess what? The move dries up, and then we play the next one. We play our ATRA. That dries up, we find a GLE. So stop marrying that one stock. When the move's over, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to, if it breaks that overall trend line, that moving average line, and it's under VWAP, don't touch it. Just find, and if volume dries up, Carl, once that volume tapers off on small caps, it's a lot harder. That's why I don't post things every fucking second, because guess what? After 10:30, there's nothing there. Unless we have 1,000%, 2,000% play, which you guys will know, because I'll be doing stupid emojis and saying nuclear and banger and all the stupid stuff that I say, but you'll know when that play's there. I'm going to be all over it with you guys. So I even go live on those. I feel like on voice when those happen. But
it's
yeah,
funny you say
we're in a
that
very
too.
small car. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's funny you say that too, because now that I've been like paying attention to the volume along with your calls, like I'm noticing it, and then I'm like, all right, he's not gonna type in the chat now for like 20, 30 minutes until
Guys,
it's
there's
my
a
turn
reason
again,
I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
listen, I've been through it. You guys could stick on the screen from 9:30 to 4,
It's not
and I
worth it.
guarantee you're going to give away half your gains if you do that and you try to catch stuff.
The best thing is to get away from the screen after you're done trading, and it sucks if
Dude,
you
enjoy
work
your
from a
life.
computer
Like, just
screen. Yeah,
move away from it. My favorite time is 7 to 8:30. I think we catch all those pre-market moves in that time. I think 8:30 to 9:30 is very and then 9:30 to 10:30. So you have a good 2 hours to make your moves happen. And that's it. And there's a reason I stopped posting. It's not because I'm not looking out for you guys. It just, and a couple of you guys have traded the ones that happen at 11:30 or 12 that may look like good setups and they fail very quickly. Justin, I'm talking about you and I when we talked about that XRTX. So just because it looks good, it can backtest VWAP, all this kind of stuff, but there's more manipulation outside of those high liquidity hours. So
less volume too.
Less volume. Yeah. Volume's the most important thing, right? So when you get that initial move in pre-market, and then when you from 9:30 to 10:30, make your moves in those 2 hours and move on with your life. I don't even love after hours anymore. I really
sushi
don't.
like Brett. Brett's living right, man. Dude's playing golf, having all you can eat buffets at the freaking golf course.
Yeah, making $200,000 a day, like a madman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yacht party.
Exactly.
One day I'll throw $1 million at a small cap. One day I'll do
see
it.
that.
Billy, we know someone else doing that.
Yeah, but I at least I'll hit and win on it.
Yeah,
I used to do that. I used to do that back in the day. Some of you stock twits people know, but it's too, if you really want to try to have a heart attack, that's what you do.
We know someone doing that and making
$1,000 on $1 million position.
Yeah. We'll talk about that another time. But
every ticker is a salary. Every little tick up and down, you're like, oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's if you really want to test your emotions in trading when you go heavy. It's why I like my small, consistent stuff every day. Yeah, you don't need you don't need a lot to make a lot of my stocks. You could see it. You could throw $1,000 in and you can make $200.
Which is great.
You don't need $100,000 to make, It's all about timing though. And KP, I see you and Justin, you guys are you getting your base hits, right?
Take it all day.
It's way less every day.
Trading is the most scalable business possible. That's what I like to say, because if you can trade $1,000 account, you can trade a $10,000 account eventually. If you can trade a $10,000 account, eventually you'll trade a $100,000 account. If you can't handle a $1,000 account, you're not ready for a $10,000 account yet. Simple as that. It's about scaling. Trading, you could scale easier than any business possible at a click of a button. It's all about risk management and applying the same concepts over and over again.
Just be careful with small caps, because it's a lot harder to scale on, you can't be hitting $1 million positions in pre-market. I mean, there's one person that we know, but he hasn't been royally fucked yet, and it's coming. But yeah, and there's nothing wrong that if you can't get there mentally with a bigger account. Some people are happy with $100, $200 a day. That's $25,000, $50,000 extra a year. Who's laughing at that?
Billy, even you size down. You said I don't.
Hell yeah, man.
Trade huge size, even with options. It's not worth it to me.
Because guess what? I could trade. I threw a few $100K at GameStop before the move, and I paper handed it. I didn't make all that money. I made great money, but not what I could have made. But you got to think that when that starts dropping, I had a trade where I also lost 100,000 on GameStop. So as much as you could win, you could lose. The same kind. When you trade big like that. And then when you feel your heart racing and palpitating, it's just not. I personally stepped away from that crazy sizing, and I like a more controlled environment for my overall, if I can make 4K a day I don't need more than that.
When you start praying, Billy, that's you should be in that trade.
When you're praying to God that please get me out of this position, you're already screwed, guys. You're already screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me the probability of when you prayed to God and the trade reversed for you, because I can tell you I've done that myself and it doesn't work.
That should be an indicator.
God's
That
watching
should
you
be
like
the
nah,
pray
you
to God
deserve this.
indicator. You're already fucked.
The trading view indicator.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. But
Yeah, so let's show up tomorrow, guys. Let's finish the week strong and be locked in and ready to go.
Yep. I'll throw this in chat probably tomorrow. I'll get it uploaded on YouTube so everyone can reference it after. But as always, we appreciate you guys showing up and your involvement in the group. We're a little over a month now. We're over 100 members in the chat. It's awesome to see everyone growing and being here along for the ride. So we appreciate y'all, and let's do it again tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, and we're dropping a referral program too. So yeah, if you guys get a couple, we'll lay out the details. But you guys could lock up some free months of membership, and if you guys have a few friends or family that are interested to try us out. So
yeah. And Billy too, we're gonna get our merch coming out soon too. We got that Trifecta merch coming.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap my car in Trifecta. Long Island Bowl probably.
That's
but
a
we got some merch coming. So
I'll take some merch. Let's go.
Yeah, we got you guys. We got you.
See you guys later.
All right,
guys.
fellas. Later. Have a good one.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, fellas. Good night.